Hello YouTube. If you've been to this channel before, you probably know that I collect 80s toys mainly. That's because they're the ones that I used to have when I was a kid, or ones that I remember my friends having. So I've spent a lot of time collecting back all of the toys that I used to own and ones that I wanted to own. This particular video is about this line of toys called SWAMPSTERZ. These are early learning centre toys, and this is, I think, pretty much the entire range of them. And what I've noticed is that if you look anywhere on the internet and try and find the names for all these guys, it's really hard to find them all. So I was quite lucky because I managed to get a set of cards as well, and it's got all their names on. So what I thought I'd do is do a video and just show you all each of these one by one and tell you their names. It's just basically like a collector's guide really for anybody that wants to have a go at trying to get them all. These Swampsters are from 2010 and they remind me a little bit of the old Japanese Sofubi characters. They're also a lot like kind of Pokemon and that kind of thing, but I like the little monster shapes of a lot of these guys, and I like the ones that look like kind of carnivorous plants and that sort of thing. There's a lot of kind of unique shapes. But yeah, there aren't that many toy lines really that are more recent that I kind of rate highly, like the ones from the 80s. But there are a few. You know, these Swampsters are one of the ones that I like, but there are a few others that I've been collecting recently. You know, just that I found quite cheaply, either at car boot sales or on eBay, that kind of thing. And I've thought to myself, they could be kind of collector's items of the future. So I've kind of got myself a little set of each one together. And I'll be doing those videos, you know, in the coming weeks, so look out for those. If you do end up wanting to buy yourself a set of these, don't buy them individually on eBay or something, because it'll end up costing you a fortune. My advice is to buy them in job lots. I bought all of these in 2 job lots with lots of figures in each one. Okay, this first guy that I'm going to show you is called Razorbeak. If you look at these cards, they're very much like top trumps. You can see at the top there it says Pinchers. So yeah, this guy Razorbeak is from the group called Pinchers. If you have a look, obviously he's got a beak that is quite razor-like. He's got these cool wings, and these vary with how much articulation they've got. This one's got quite a few points of articulation, and you can see really good kind of detailing on the back and that kind of thing, and the wing feathers. So yeah, these are really well made, and you can see whoever has sculpted them has gone to quite a lot of effort. This next one is also from the group called Pinchers, and he's called Vortex. You can see here he's got these amazing kind of claws, and then he's got lots of sections to his arms and his legs, and he's got this really cool kind of insect-like face. One thing I would say about this guy is his legs are in quite an unusual position, so he can sort of keep falling over quite easily. But he has got big feet, so it's not too bad. It could be worse. I like this sort of big balls look like joints on his arms and that sort of thing. Another one from the Pinchers group is called Snipper. You can see on the card, on the illustration, he's got a claw that kind of is in 3 sections. Obviously, on the actual figure, that claw is closed up. But yeah, he's really cool looking, nice colours. You can see he's got these kind of cool joints and things. I think he only moves at his kind of shoulder and hip joints, but you can see a good set of wings. The wings are much more flexible than the rest of him, so you know, they're not going to snap off or anything like that. Carrying on with the Pinchers group, this guy's called Grapple Arm. I think you can see why. He's got this one massive arm. I'd have to say he's probably the most annoying out of all of the figures, just because that arm is so big that obviously it makes him really side heavy, and he keeps toppling over to the side. But he's got a cool shaped head, I really like that, and lots of detailing on the back as well. The head, I was trying to work out, you know, what kind of animal it's probably based on. It's quite crab-like at the front, I think. And yeah, I really like that big arm and the little tiny little claw arm on the other side. Another Pinchers character, this time he's called Tweezor. If you have a look at him, he's got these tiny little claws on the end of these long green arms. On the card, his head has got this kind of mouth or something that looks like it's all kind of open. But on the actual character, you can just see these kind of 2 eyes, one above the other. I quite like that though, it's quite a cool shaped little head. apart from that, you can see his body's got all these kind of cool sections to it. And yeah, if you look, the shoulders are absolutely massive, and then he's got these cool black feet as well. I really like the colour schemes on a lot of these and how they sort of go together. Carrying on with the Pinchers group again, this guy's called Screech. You can see like his beak is very kind of large and toucan-like. A lot of these characters you can see, you know, where they've been taken from in the animal kingdom. He's got these really cool little kind of arms with claws on, and then you've got like this sort of Mohican haircut and his little tongue sticking out. What I like on the main beak as well is that it's got all those kind of serrated bits that look a bit like teeth. Very cool, very kind of prehistoric looking. I particularly like how sturdy this one is when he's standing up, because his beak and his 2 feet form a kind of a triangular shape. Right, we're moving on to the next group. These guys are called the Munchers, and this one's called Grub. So they've got these green cards. This is probably one of my favourite of all of them. He's really cool shape. He reminds me of like a little crab. But he's got these 6 arms with these bright yellow kind of hands. And yeah, just really cool colour scheme, really cool shape, and just a really kind of unique looking little monster. I think I've always liked little creatures that are kind of really short and fat, little dumpy characters that are based on kind of balls or that sort of thing. So yeah, this guy kind of reminds me of something from the Trapdoor or something like that from the 80s. The next Munchers character is called Slive. We'll forgive them for nicking the name from the Thundercats character, but he's a really cool looking guy. He's like bright blue, so he really stands out actually in the collection. I love the fact that his mouth is open, so he looks like he's kind of shouting or just about to munch on something. Um, yeah, love the tail, the way that kind of wraps around. Again, it makes for a nice sturdy base. It really makes a difference actually if you've got a figure that just stands up really well. This next Munchers character is called Crunch. You can see on the card there he's got his mouth open, and the actual figure has got his mouth closed, but that's okay, he looks pretty cool either way. You can see he's got like some really cool markings and things on this one, like you can just see his eyes on the top of his head, and you can see all these yellow kind of stripes, all these green bumps on his arms, that sort of thing. Really nice detailing on this one as well. So another one that kind of stands out just because of all the bright colours and kind of strong sharp markings. This next Munchers character is called Snaptrap, and he's one of the carnivorous plant type ones. So if you have a look here, this kind of mouth with the tongue on it is actually on the end of one of his arms. It's more like his hand. This is his little head here, look. And you can see his feet there as well. But yeah, I really like these parts that are just obviously based on plants. Reminded me of something from like Little Shop of Horrors or that kind of thing. Again, really nice vivid colours on this one. Another one that just stands out really nicely. The next Munchers character is called Chomp, another one clearly based on a carnivorous plant. You can see it's basically just a great big mouth, like a Venus flytrap. But you can see he's got 4 legs. That's the main mouth viewed from the top. But then you've got these 4 bright green legs. It's quite kind of dog-like shape at the bottom. Big kind of tongue sticking out the side. Again, just really cool, just having that bright green with the dark green, and then all the teeth that really stand out nicely. This next one from the Munchers group is called Gludgeon, and you can see he's just like a deep sea anglerfish. So you've got like the little lure on the top of his head, and then you've got a little fin on the back, and again just really nice bright colours. His teeth really stand out, his tongue really stands out, and you've got these little kind of fin-like feet. I really like those. So this is another one which just is really sturdy when he's standing up, and yeah, just really like this one. The next Munchers one is called Wampa, and if you have a look, he's just this green guy with kind of claws on the end of his arms. But his arms and, you know, his back and everything have got all these really cool ridges on, so they really stand out really nicely. He's very angular. You can imagine the person that sculpted this had a lot of fun, because a lot of these shapes come quite easily with sculpting tools, but it works really well. And I like the fact that he's got these 4 teeth at the front. Right, moving on to the next group. These are called Stompers, and this guy's called Thunderjaw. He's probably one of my absolute favourites out of all of the characters, just because he looks like a proper little monster. He's got 3 eyes, loads of teeth, his mouth is open, so he's got a lot of character to him. He's got these massive hands, massive feet, really cool like spinal kind of fins down the back, and just love the colour scheme on this one as well, like red and blue and black. What's not to love about this guy? The next one from the Stompers is called Stickleback, and if you have a look at his picture on the card there, you can see these really spiky, spines all over his arms and his back and everything. You can see them all here, look, all sculpted on and nice kind of grey colour, which shows up really well against the red. You can see he's got these 4 sets of arms and then 2 legs by the looks of things. But you can move them about and decide if you want to have his arms raised up or if you want them down as if he's kind of walking on them. The next one from the Stompers is called Spawn, and this is another one of my absolute favourites. You'll see why, because he's got that similar sort of monster shaped head, that I really love, with it like a big mouth, big teeth, massive tongue. And this one's a Cyclops, he's just got the 1 eye. But he's just got that kind of cheeky kind of look to him. Love his hair as well, with these kind of green tentacle type dreadlocks. And then you've got, sections down his body at the front. And yeah, just nice detailing. And I love the fact that his hands stick out, so he's kind of looks like he just wants to grab you or give you a hug. The next one from Stompers is called Boulder Breaker, and what I really love about this one is he's got that monster sort of look about him again, with the big mouth like I mentioned before. But look at his arms and his back, he's got all these kind of rock-like textures kind of built into him. So I mean, I really like characters, or toy lines from the 80s, like things like Rock Lords that were basically like Transformers, but they look like rocks. So anything like that kind of appeals to me. But again, with these sort of blue colours and things, he really stands out, especially with his kind of yellow stripes on his head and his yellow teeth. I also like the shape of his hands with 3 fingers on each, and also his toes, really cool. The next one from Stompers is called Gigantor, and if you have a look at this guy, he's got a really cool shaped head, but also he's got this like massive bright green hair. So quite often what they've done here is, if they've got a character that's a bit sort of drably coloured, they've got this like bit just somewhere that will be really brightly coloured to kind of make up for it. But yeah, look at the mean face on this guy, and also like the claws, really cool, like 3 claws on each hand. Yeah, really nice little character, this one as well. I think when you could buy these from the Early Learning Centre in 2010, they didn't cost very much, or only like a couple of quid each or something. And the packets had www.swampsters.com on them. Well, I don't think that website exists anymore. Right, the next one from Stompers is called Shell Shocker. This is another one I particularly like. I think he reminds me a little bit of like a Garthim or something from the Dark Crystal. If you have a look, he's got this kind of crab-like look to him. I love the jaws, the way they're kind of on the sides of his mouth, but they look like they could do some real damage. And then you've got all these kinds of sections that go down the back. Again, like the Garthim from Dark Crystal. A good use of primary colours on this one with the red, yellow and blue, and nice to have the 2 different shades of blue. So again, a really vivid, nice coloured character. The next one from Stompers is called Stampede, and he has a lot of beetle-like qualities that I can really appreciate, but he also has these bird-like feet, bright yellow, so they stand out on their own. But yeah, look at his antennae with those kind of cool sections, and then look how massive his kind of lower jaw is. And yeah, just really cool little face as well. He's got a lot of character to him. And then yeah, this really cool shaped body. Nice that he's kind of got really obvious kind of colour differences between the different sections. The next one from the Stompers group is called Backlash. You can see overall he's got this kind of fairly drab green colour to him, but then he's got these very bright red bits every so often, like the kind of hair on the top of his head. And then, all of the ridges on the claws. He's got this really cool, almost shark-like mouth. with that kind of shark-like nose section as well, and then the segments down the front of his body, and these really cool ridges down his back and onto his tail. As far as I can tell, I don't think any of these figures have become, kind of rarer than any others. They're all roughly about the same sort of price if you want to buy them individually. Okay, we're on to the next section, and this guy's called Scorp. If you have a look at him, he's got bright blue and then dark blue on the ends of his hands and his kind of leg claws. And then you've got bright red eyes and a red, presumably like a sting to his tail. Lots of cool body sections, and you can see you can either have his arms raised up like this, like it is in the picture, or you can put them down. The legs remind me of centipede legs, and then yeah, the arms just look like little monster arms. The next one from Crawlers is called Ambush, and this is the only one that's kind of a really bright yellow colour. So this one really stands out, and is one of the ones that kind of reminds me the most of like a Pokemon kind of character. But if you have a look underneath there, you can see his mouth open with bright yellow teeth in there as well. You can see as well he's got all these kind of spines down his back, and he's got that kind of slanted eye look at the front of him. The next one from the Crawlers group is called DrillMatic, and if you have a look, he's got these massive arms that on the picture look like they're kind of spinning around like drills, and then he's got these kind of claw-like bits on the ends of them. His face is quite interesting looking, again quite insect-like. I love the 4 red teeth at the front, and then I love the kind of shoulder pad bits and the ridges that go over his eyes as well. With his 4 legs and the way the tail goes up at the back, he kind of reminds me a bit of a praying mantis. Every toy monster that you've ever seen, or any movie creature, you'll probably find has had influences of some kind from the animal kingdom. The next one from the Crawlers group is called Scuttle, and this one is perhaps even more praying mantis-like. If you have a look, especially the head shape, that really reminds me of a praying mantis, and then also the abdomen on this one. But again, you can have the legs, you can have 2 of them sticking up, and then you can have the other 4 sticking down. So again, that's praying mantis like as well. But yeah, look at these sections on the back. I mean, I suppose the abdomen is more kind of ant like in a way, but just overall he reminds me mainly of a praying mantis. I like the dark blue painted marking on his head as well on this one. The next one from the Crawlers group is called Flicker, and if you have a look, this one's got this kind of segmented tail that really hangs over the top of his body. It's a really long tail, but it's a really cool kind of shape, and I like the way it kind of moves. I like the legs as well. You can see my particular one here is a bit duffed up, so most of the ones of these I don't particularly care about too much condition wise, but I might rebuy this one. The next one from the Crawlers group is called Wheeler, and this is one that particularly reminds me of the sort of Pokemon characters, just because it's almost like a cross between like an animal and a machine. So he's got these kind of bits that stick out and make it look like a wheel, like it could kind of whiz around, and he could spin at things. I do have like a massive love of robots and things as well, so I'm all for things that are half machine and half animal. Okay, so I do have a few without cards, like this guy here, Shred. Because I don't have a card for him, I don't know what group he's in. But, I found out that his name is Shred, and so I thought I'd give you that bit of information so you at least know what he's called. But again, look, really cool, massive claws, good colour scheme. I love this kind of big claw on his head as well that sticks forward. He has a lot of character to him. The next one that I don't have a card for is called Larvian. If any of you know, incidentally, what group any of these are from that I don't have cards from, if you could let me know in the comments, that would be really useful. But yeah, this one I really like because he does look like a big sort of grub. He's got that kind of mouth at the front where you can see those like little pointy bits look like they could be sort of teeth. And then you've got those front legs as well. So a really cool shape again with the red, yellow and blue scheme. This next one that I don't have a card for is called Stumpweed. Again, another one based on a sort of carnivorous plant. What I really like about this one is that the jaw really reminds me of a graboid from Tremors or a shrieker from Tremors 2, and I've sculpted both of those, so I saw the shape of the mouth and I thought, yep, that definitely reminds me of that. Again, really cool colour scheme on this one. I really like the really dark maroon sort of colour for the main kind of mouth parts. Okay, after thinking that I had every single one of the Swampsters, I had a look on eBay and I found this guy Rotochop. This is one that I don't own, but he's in the post on his way to me as we speak. So I thought I'd add this one in. It just shows that it's worth looking on eBay from time to time when you think you've got them all, just in case there's one or two that you've missed. I also managed to find this guy, Claw Striker. That's another one that I'd missed in the past, but he's also coming in the post. If any of you know of any others that I haven't got on this video, if you could let me know in the comments, that would be great, and then I'll look out for them and try and add them to my collection. Okay, I'll leave you with this little run through of all my figures next to each other with all their cards. The cards, by the way, are really difficult to find as well on their own. I've noticed if I type Swampsters cards into eBay, they never seem to come up like on their own. They're always sold, just a few at a time with the figures. I was lucky because I got a whole load basically in one go with some of the figures that I bought. So you do have to kind of keep your eyes open. But I have a feeling that, if these do become collectibles in the future, and they do start going up in price, the cards will be useful to have alongside them as well, just because they'll be really hard to find. Okay, I hope you've enjoyed this video, and I hope it's useful for some of you if you decide that you do want to go and collect some of these Swampsters. Hit subscribe if you want to see any videos that I post up in the future. Like I said, we'll be doing some more videos fairly soon on other more modern toys. So I've got some that are on crate creatures. I also collect those. Also bath buddies are another one that I like. And most recently I've been collecting the grocery gang figures as well, so I'll do videos on them. Like I say, hit subscribe if you want to see those and anything else that I post in the future. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video.